Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something pretty practical.
Okay.
And that's how you can actually implement AI in your enterprise.
Right.
Specifically, we're focusing on large language models,
Okay.
or LLMs.
Right.
And we'll demystify what LLMs are, discuss how you can leverage them without needing a massive tech team,
Right.
and uncover the power of something called vector databases.
Oh.
Plus, we'll explore some surprisingly simple integration strategies so you can start seeing real value from AI in your business.
Sounds good.
But before we dive in, I have a quick favor to ask.
Okay.
My friend has a fantastic podcast on YouTube called Le Podcast de Philippe,
Oh, nice.
and he's trying to hit 1,000 subscribers today.
Wow, that's awesome.
If you enjoy this deep dive, maybe you could head over to YouTube and help him out with a subscribe.
Yeah.
Now let's get started. You're already interested in LLM, so I think you'll find this really fascinating.
Okay.
Instead of getting bogged down in basic AI concepts, we're going to jump right into the practical stuff. That's a great approach.
Yeah.
A lot of folks get intimidated by the idea of LLMs, but the truth is you don't need to be a data scientist to understand how to use them.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So let's break it down.
Okay.
We hear a lot about pre-trained LLMs.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean?
Well, think of it this way. Imagine a chef who has spent years mastering every cooking technique imaginable.
Okay.
That's essentially what a pre-trained LLM is. It's been fed a massive amount of data books, code, articles, and from all that it's learned how language works.
Okay.
The heavy lifting of building the core language understanding has already been done.
This is like we're getting a head start.
Yes.
We don't have to build an LLM from scratch.
Exactly. And that's a huge advantage, especially for companies that don't have massive AI teams or resources.
Right.
You can leverage these existing powerful models and go straight to customizing them for your specific needs.
Okay, so we have this incredibly capable LLM, but it's trained on a vast amount of general information.
How do we make it relevant to our company's unique data and processes?
That's where the magic of fine-tuning comes in. Instead of starting from scratch, you're essentially taking that expert chef and teaching them your family's secret recipes.
Ah, I like that analogy.
Yeah, you're feeding the LLM your internal documents, FAQs, customer interactions, all the data that makes your business unique.
So we're basically giving it a crash course in Company 101.
You got it. This fine-tuning process is what makes the LLM incredibly accurate and relevant for tasks within your company.
Okay.
It learns the language, the nuances, the specific context of your business.
This is starting to sound a lot less daunting.
I hope so.
So we have our fine-tuned LLM ready to go.
Right.
But how do we actually use it?
Okay.
This is where I imagine things get complicated.
It's actually simpler than you might think.
Really?
Remember those secret recipes we talked about?
Uh-huh.
Well, you need a way to store and organize them so the LLM can access them effectively.
Okay.
That's where vector databases come in. Vector databases. I'll admit I'm not familiar with those.
Yeah.
How do they differ from traditional databases?
Think about the difference between searching for a song on Spotify and digging through a physical record collection.
Okay.
In a traditional database, you're searching for exact keyword matches. But with a vector database, information is stored based on meaning and context.
Interesting.
Just like Spotify recommends songs based on underlying musical patterns, even if they're in different genres.
So instead of just matching words, it's understanding the deeper meaning.
Yes, exactly.
That's incredible. But I'm still trying to wrap my head around how this actually works within a company.
Okay, well, imagine you ask your intranet, what are our top 3 customer pain points?
Okay.
A traditional search might just pull up documents with those exact words,
Uh,
but an LLM powered by a vector database can analyze all your customer interactions, support tickets,
right.
and feedback forms, identify patterns and themes,
Okay.
and give you a truly insightful answer.
Wow, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
It's like having an AI research assistant that understands your company inside and out.
Exactly.
So how do we actually go about integrating LLMs and these vector databases into our existing systems?
Well, the good news is you don't need to rip and replace everything.
Okay, good.
A modular approach is key.
Okay, so break it down for me. What does that look like in practice?
Instead of trying to implement AI across your entire enterprise all at once,
Right.
start by identifying a specific problem or area where an LLM could add value.
Okay.
Think of it like building with Lego blocks.
Uh-huh.
You start with a small, manageable project and then gradually build from there.
So we're not talking about a massive resource-intensive overhaul.
Not at all. You can start small experiment and scale up as you learn and see the benefits.
Right.
This makes it accessible even for companies without huge technical teams or budgets.
That's reassuring. But I'm still curious about the specifics.
Yeah.
Can you give me some examples of how this might play out in a real-world setting, like within a company intranet?
Absolutely. One common use case is automating customer service responses.
Oh, okay.
Instead of having humans manually answer every inquiry, an LLM can analyze the incoming questions and provide relevant information from your knowledge base.
Interesting.
It can even learn to handle more complex requests over time.
That's a great example. And I imagine that could free up a lot of time for your customer service team to focus on more strategic tasks.
Yeah, definitely.
What are some other practical applications?
Well, another area where LLMs can really shine is in analyzing internal data.
Okay.
Let's say you're trying to identify trends in customer churn.
Okay.
An LLM can analyze your CRM data support tickets
Right.
and even social media interactions to uncover patterns that might not be immediately obvious to humans.
So it's not just about automating tasks. It's about uncovering insights that could lead to better decision-making.
Exactly. LLMs can be incredibly powerful tools for helping us understand our data in new ways. And as the technology continues to evolve, the possibilities are only going to expand. But before we get too carried away, it's important to acknowledge that implementing AI also comes with certain responsibilities.
That's a great point. When we're talking about using AI within a company,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to sensitive information,
Yeah.
security has to be a top priority.
Absolutely. Robust security measures are crucial to protect data and ensure user privacy.
Yeah.
It's not a set it and forget it situation either. You need to be vigilant about updates, potential vulnerabilities, and ongoing testing to make sure your systems are secure.
So it's not just about the technical implementation. It's about having a responsible and ongoing security strategy in place.
Precisely. And it's an area where getting expert advice and guidance is essential.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We've demystified LLMs, talked about the power of fine-tuning and vector databases,
Yeah.
and even touched on the importance of security. It's clear that this technology is becoming increasingly accessible, even for businesses that might not have considered it before. But I think the real question is, how can our listeners, with their specific companies and industries, actually start putting these ideas into practice?
Yeah.
What are the first steps they should take?
Well, I think the most important thing is to start with a clear objective.
Okay.
What specific problem or opportunity are you trying to address with AI? Don't try to boil the ocean.
Okay.
Pick a well-defined scope and start there.
So choose a specific use case where an LLM could add real value.
Exactly. For example, maybe you're struggling with knowledge sharing across teams.
Okay.
An LLM-powered search tool could help employees quickly find the expertise they need, regardless of department or location.
That's a great example. It's about solving a real business problem, not just implementing AI for the sake of it.
Precisely. Once you have that clear objective, you can start exploring the different types of LLMs available and determine which one is the best fit for your needs. There are open source models, commercially available options,
Right.
and even specialized LLMs designed for specific industries.
It sounds like there's a whole ecosystem emerging around this technology.
There is, and it's evolving rapidly.
Wow.
That's why it's so important to stay informed and to partner with experts who can guide you through the process.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment and to learn as you go.
That's great advice. But I think we also have to be realistic about the challenges, right?
Yeah.
Implementing AI, even in a targeted way, is not always a simple task.
Of course. There will be technical hurdles to overcome,
Right.
and it's crucial to have a strong data strategy in place.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of your data will directly impact the performance of your LLM. And then there's the human element.
What do you mean by that?
Implementing AI successfully requires more than just technology.
Oh,
It requires a shift in mindset and culture within your organization.
Right.
You need to prepare your team for this new way of working, provide training, and address any concerns they may have.
so it's about bringing people along on the journey, not just throwing technology at a problem.
Exactly. The most successful AI implementations are the ones that empower people, not replace them.
Right.
It's about using AI to augment human intelligence and creativity.
Okay.
If we can strike that balance, the possibilities are truly limitless.
This has been incredibly insightful.
We're great.
But I know our listeners are eager to hear about some concrete examples of how LLMs are being used in real-world settings.
Absolutely.
Can you share some specific use cases?
Absolutely. Let's dive into some fascinating applications of LLMs that are already making a difference in various industries.
Okay.
From healthcare to finance to retail, the impact is undeniable.
Yeah, that's what we'll be exploring in part 2 of our deep dive. Stay tuned.
Awesome.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Before the break, we were talking about how even companies without huge tech teams or budgets can start implementing AI.
Yes, and the key here is to think strategically about your goals and resources. You don't need to go all in on AI right away. You can start small experiment with different use cases and gradually scale up as you learn and gain confidence.
So let's say a company has identified a specific use case. What's next?
Once you've pinpointed a problem or opportunity, the next step is to choose the right LLM for the job.
Okay.
There's a wide range of models available from open source options to commercial platforms.
That sounds overwhelming. How do you even begin to navigate that landscape?
Well, it's important to consider factors like the size and complexity of your data,
Okay.
the level of accuracy you need, and your budget constraints. Some LLMs are better suited for certain tasks than others.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Absolutely not. It's crucial to do your research consult with experts and even experiment with different models to see what works best for your specific needs.
Let's dive into some real-world examples then.
Yeah.
You mentioned healthcare, finance, and retail as industries where LLMs are already making an impact.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. In healthcare, LLMs are being used to analyze medical records and research papers to help doctors diagnose diseases more accurately and efficiently. They can even personalize treatment plans based on a patient's medical history and genetic profile.
That sounds incredibly powerful. It could revolutionize how we approach healthcare. What about finance?
Well, LLMs are making waves in finance too. They're being used to detect fraudulent transactions, assess risk, and provide personalized financial advice to customers.
So they're not just automating tasks, they're actually making financial systems smarter and more secure.
That's right. They're helping financial institutions analyze massive amounts of data, identify patterns that humans might miss,
Right.
and make more informed decisions. And in retail, LLMs are powering those chatbots you often encounter on websites.
Yeah, wow.
They can answer customer questions, provide product recommendations,
Okay.
and even personalize the shopping experience.
So they're making online shopping more convenient and engaging.
Exactly. LLMs are helping retailers understand customer behavior, tailor their offerings, and ultimately create a more seamless and satisfying shopping experience. But it's not just about these specific industries.
Yeah.
LLMs have the potential to transform virtually every sector of the economy.
That's an exciting thought. But I imagine there are also potential downsides to consider.
Of course. As with any powerful technology, there are ethical implications and potential risks associated with LLMs. It's crucial to ensure that these models are developed and deployed responsibly.
What are some of the key concerns?
Well, one major concern is bias. LLMs are trained on massive data sets of text and code.
Right.
And if that data reflects existing societal biases, the LLM could perpetuate those biases in its output.
So we need to be mindful of the data that's used to train these models.
Absolutely. We need to ensure that the training data is diverse and representative of the real world.
Yeah.
And we need to develop mechanisms for identifying and mitigating bias in LLM output.
That makes sense. Are there other ethical considerations?
Yeah, another important issue is transparency. It can be difficult to understand how LLMs arrive at their conclusions.
Okay.
This lack of transparency can make it challenging to hold them accountable for their actions.
So we need ways to make these models more explainable.
Yes, we need to develop techniques for making LLM decision-making processes more transparent.
Okay.
So that we can understand how they're reaching their conclusions and identify any potential issues.
These are important points to consider as we move forward with AI development.
It's essential to have these conversations and to approach AI development with a sense of responsibility. We need to be aware of the potential risks and take steps to mitigate them.
So while LLMs offer tremendous opportunities, we need to tread carefully and ensure that we're using them ethically and responsibly. What are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree. We need to strike a balance between innovation and responsibility.
Yeah.
If we can do that, I believe that LLMs have the potential to make a positive impact on the world.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation, but I know our listeners are eager for even more concrete examples of how LLMs are being applied in the real world.
Absolutely. Let's delve into some specific use cases that highlight the transformative power of LLMs in action.
We'll do just that in part 3 of our deep dive. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring the world of LLMs and how they can be implemented in your enterprise. Before the break, we were discussing some of the ethical considerations surrounding this powerful technology.
Yeah, it's crucial to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad.
Right.
We need to be mindful of the potential risks as we integrate these models into our businesses.
Absolutely. So how can companies ensure they're using LLMs responsibly and ethically?
Well, one key step is to carefully curate the data used to train these models.
Okay.
If the training data is biased or incomplete,
Right.
the LLM's output will reflect those flaws.
So it all comes back to the quality of the data.
Yeah.
What else can companies do?
Transparency is also vital. It's important to understand how LLMs arrive at their conclusions and to be able to explain those processes to others.
Okay.
This helps build trust and ensures accountability.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now let's shift gears and dive into some more real-world examples of LLMs in action.
Okay, let's start with marketing. LLMs can analyze customer data to create highly personalized marketing campaigns.
Okay.
They can even generate targeted content that resonates with specific audiences.
So they're not just sending out generic messages, they're tailoring the communication to each individual.
That's right. LLMs can analyze past purchases, browsing history, and social media activity to understand what motivates each customer.
Wow.
This level of personalization can lead to much higher engagement rates.
That's impressive. What other areas are being impacted by LLMs?
In human resources, LLMs can help streamline the hiring process.
Okay.
They can screen resumes, identify qualified candidates, and even conduct preliminary interviews.
That could save HR departments a lot of time and effort.
Absolutely. LLMs can handle the more tedious tasks, freeing up HR professionals to focus on strategic initiatives.
Right.
And they can help eliminate human bias from the screening process, leading to more diverse and inclusive workplaces.
These examples really showcase the versatility of LLMs. It seems like the possibilities are endless.
They truly are. And as LLM technology continues to advance, we can expect even more innovative applications to emerge.
So what's the key takeaway you want to leave our listener with today?
Well, LLMs are powerful tools with the potential to transform businesses across all industries. By approaching this technology with a balance of enthusiasm and responsibility, companies can unlock incredible value while mitigating potential risks.
That's a great point. It's all about finding that sweet spot between innovation and ethical implementation. We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We explored what LLMs are, how they work, and how you can start using them in your own business.
Yeah.
We even discussed some real-world examples and the importance of responsible AI development.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
If you're ready to take the plunge and explore the world of LLMs for yourself, remember to start with a clear objective. Choose the right tools and prioritize ethical considerations every step of the way. And don't forget to subscribe to Le Podcast de Philippe on YouTube. He's just a few subscribers away from reaching his goal of 1,000. We hope you found this deep dive insightful. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.